My name is Jason Imeidopf. I'm currently a manager at Kinetech. I've been here about 3 years now, a little over 3 years. I hail from a lesser-known town of Deltona, Florida. To give you an idea, it's just about 30 minutes north of the Orlando area. I believe one of the facets of Mendix that makes it so powerful is the amount of efficacy one could have by simply working within the platform. I'd say its biggest strength is its generality. We can create anything we want to, modules, widgets, custom Java functionality, APIs, you name it. And the platform offers us the essentials plus a bit extra from the Mendix developers. And we can turn that into whatever we want. We're not given this feeling of, you could build it as long as it's something we provided. We can go much further in this platform. Right. So comparatively, I would have to say that that's one of the first client projects that I got put on when I was at Mendix. They were involved in government mortgage, and they had a very large Mendix application, decent development team, good production support team, the works. My role was to be an expert Mendix developer, ready to assist wherever possible. But, bear in mind, I had just started my journey with Mendix. I had barely gotten my advanced developer certification. So this was why I say comparatively. I found that they had this nightly job that kicked off in Mendix. It was meant to process all the files that had been changed the day prior. And the start of the job was just after midnight. It was supposed to be done before the start of business the next day. But when I arrived, it took about 9 to 10 hours worth of time to complete. They simply just queued up everything, and they prepped all the files in Mendix and moved it into the job on their production server. This wasn't really an issue when they first started. Obviously, the volume was low, but as they grew, they experienced worsening completion times. So I spoke with the production support team there, and I found out that the actual expectations were not to just go through every file. They really wanted to only focus on the ones that changed. So after a conversation, I asked simply, how much CPU utilization do we have at the end of the day? Because I said we could employ something called multiprocessing, which just so happened to be the very topic that failed me out of computer science back in college. So we can employ multiprocessing to batch these files, run some XML differing functions to find out really what was different, and ignore file lines like created date, things that would always be different, to get the proper subset of files in their nightly job. So I modified their logic a little bit to batch the files first off. They were just kind of shoving tens of thousands of objects at once. And we would basically do the parsing on the server with multiple processes and move these qualifying files, the ones that had the changes they need, into a specific folder for the remainder of the processing. We saw tens of thousands of files, again, 9 to 10 hours worth of processing. It overdid its welcome, basically. Cut down to less than 10,000 on average, and maybe a peak of 45 minutes while I was there. Right, so you'd think that the multiprocessing was my most proud moment, but actually it was for most of 2022 and I guess the first half of 23, I worked on a multifamily brokerage company's client portal. So basically, you've got a lot of money, or your company's got a lot of money, you want to start acquiring condos and apartment complexes and whatnot. This client had a whole system worked out where you work with them. I was the only developer on that project, which meant I had to build the security, the architecture, implement the UI, UX, connect all the systems that they wanted to connect to. It was a lot of work for one person. And I'm most proud of it because Mendix allowed me to just build it all in such a rapid amount of time with simplicity, nonetheless. And it looked great. It communicated with 3 to 4 systems in real time with APIs and webhooks and widgets and emails and everything. And it helped this client provide their customers a means to manage their acquisition prospects, with very little to no training. Currently, I'm in a little bit of a I'm everywhere kind of ordeal. I'm Kinetech's primary user interface guy, so I've had the opportunity to work in our GovTech, our banking and finance, our construction projects, and many others. I like to think of development work as industry agnostic, meaning it really doesn't commit to one particular thing. Acronyms are different, the workflows are different, so being in UI UX and not just development, I'm able to really just go into anything, and it's been exciting to learn actually a little bit of all these industries. I started my low code journey. I had big opposition for the what you see is what you get editors, which is what I considered Mendix. Click and drag, beautiful interface, no code, and really it was because it was how do you learn the actual workings of the programming? But going back to that multifamily brokerage example, that entire project was my aha moment. Remember, I said I failed out of computer science, so I didn't really get the training and the education that I could have had when it came to full software development. Being the only developer on that project, I learned a lot about authentication methods, API management, webhooks, Java development, asynchronous workflows, just these whole mountain of things that I think I missed out on in the last 2 years of college. Just a wide variety of things. So my opposition is no longer there. I'm still learning things. I'm still getting to explore and expand upon this platform. So I think it's been a rather big aha moment for a year. I'm best known for my user interface and user experience expertise. I did freelance web development in school and a little bit after, so I was really ornery about the way things looked and ran. I use an analogy to explain application development. It's creating apps is like writing books. Your users or your readers, they're happy campers if they can enjoy what's in front of them. They can identify where they are in the process. How easy is the material received? How is it understood? Things like that. So how an application functions, it means a lot, but very little to me if I'm not satisfied with how things look. So I emphasize the UI UX in all of our projects. I'm exploring different ways to make sure that we can bring modern interface to our Mendix applications, not just use the out-of-the-box stuff. So that would be my superpowers. I am the guy that has to have it look a certain way, good and wholesome experience. I would say continuing education is important. A lot of this work is done, for us, the hard-coded stuff, but there are still new things coming out, still things to learn. We can do a lot with the Mendix out-of-the-box experience, and couple that with what's in the marketplace from the community. But I found if you want to distinguish yourself from the others, learning new things is the way to go. That makes you able to tinker away and possibly build something, amazing with Mendix. So, for example, when they announced the deeper integration with React and React Native, I had never touched that before in my life. So I took it upon myself to do some courses, build some basic widgets, modify some existing ones, and now I've got content in the marketplace being downloaded all the time. And people asking for updates to new versions, or can we modify it to do this, stuff like that. And continuing to educate is not just a professionally necessary thing; it's also personally fulfilling to me.
I like that, a lifelong learner, huh?
Yes, parents were in education. You'll see in my next answer that would have been the path I took. But what I think got me some points in my interview with Kinetech was I said, I'm a student first. So I will always I will always be learning. I will always look for some reason to find knowledge. Yeah, before software development or anything, coding, I was big into computer repair. I wanted to be, top cheese at Geek Squad at one point, and I messed around with circuits and sensors, so I figured I probably would have gone into, hardware or product engineering. And if technology as a whole wasn't a factor of my being. I probably would have followed my family's general path and gone into the education system. Well, yeah, teacher. My father has been doing this for 27 or 28 years now, and he's gone through everything from kindergarten to high school, and now he's a principal. So I would have figured I would have started out as a teacher somewhere doing something and worked my way up through the ranks.